Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you another video. All right, so Bron said, where's all these media outlets, TV personalities, and social media, however it goes, talking about Joel Embiid needs to play all these games only for him to get hurt? Where are y'all talking now? Why ain't y'all saying that now? For me, I'm on the side of the players with this one. I know that's the minority. I've been listening to a lot of people talk a lot of stuff. They think the rule is good. I think it's garbage. I think it's a garbage rule. 65 games or else you can't get the MVP. What you end up having is players trying to play through injury. It's not smart. I don't want my players trying to play through injury. The object of the game is to keep these guys healthy. And if they need to rest, let them rest. You know what I mean? Now, if they are capping about whether or not they need to rest, I don't know the science behind that. I don't, guys like Kawhi Leonard, we've questioned on this channel, stuff like that, but a guy like Joel Embiid, who desperately wants his own individual accolades, we know how much MVPs and all-star appearances mean to him specifically. He went out there on a bad knee trying to keep up with their quota of 65 games, and now he's probably out for the season. Would I want to blame him for having these goals of his own? Or do I, you know what I mean? That's the question, because you definitely put that in front of him. So it's like, I don't like the rule, man. I don't like the rule. I don't think it benefits the fans like they say it does, because now we got players running around half-mast hurting the team, trying to keep up with the quota so they can get what it is that they believe they deserve. And a guy like Joel Embiid, he was going to get the MVP if this rule wasn't in place, and he'd probably be more healthy for more games if he didn't force it. I think one thing that needs to be understood is something that I heard someone say. I don't remember exactly who it was. It was a female commentator on one of these networks. She said, we got to take into account that the voters are going to take into account how many games these guys have missed and vote accordingly. So why don't we just continue to leave it up to them rather than put this blanketed 65 games minimum in place? Do we not trust our voters to more or less get it right as it pertains to that? Do you think they're going to vote a guy MVP if he's only played 40 games? They're probably not. So this rule, it seems like it's doing more harm than good, and I really think that, man. I think that, yes, we may perceive that we have a problem with players sitting out games, but we also may perceive we have a new problem now with players trying to play through injury to meet the quota of 65 games. So that's not a balance. That's not what I don't need that as a fan. I don't want my guy going out there hurting my overall bigger picture to meet his own personal goals. And then only for me to turn around and have to scold him for wanting these personal goals. It just puts a wedge between me and that player. And most importantly, it doesn't put enough onus on the NBA to find balance in regards to this. I think a lot of people who are upset at this don't like the fact that NBA players make so much money. They may not understand the economics of it or just resent them entirely. So a lot of what the hate is about, it's about hating the fact these guys have a lot of money. I come at it from a different perspective when it comes to that. Money ain't my God, you know what I mean? So I don't value that as it pertains to whether or not I should hate on people or enjoy my own life. It never is part of my thinking. And I think that's the difference between myself and a lot of people. I don't hate dudes I don't hate you because you're rich, fam. I don't particularly know if you're having a good life for a good day. You know what I mean? I don't know. So that doesn't work for me, man. But when it comes down to whether or not I think guys are giving us the best product or whether or not they're going out there to hurt themselves, to hurt their long-term career, especially a guy like Joel Embiid who missed the first couple of years of his career because his team was trying so hard to keep him healthy and try to keep him from mitigating any of those risks of knee injuries that were definitely in place early on. They overcame that completely, and now he goes back and has this problem. Jonathan Kuminga, I don't know how to view that, man. I don't. It didn't look good to me, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Him diving on that man's leg like that. I got bad feelings about how that went down. It didn't feel right to me. I don't know nothing about sports. Guys are hustling for the basketball, but guys are also professionals, and they know, when you're hovering over a 7-footer's leg. You know that. He's had knee injuries. You are a solid 240 all muscle. It didn't sit right with me. Jonathan Kuminga doing that, how that played out, I didn't feel like that was an accident. I really didn't. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It didn't feel like an accident. But then again, someone would argue with me and say, you don't know how it feels to be on the basketball floor, and then you're absolutely right. But I'm just telling you, from where I'm sitting, I didn't like the vibes and none of that at all. And I know jealousy's a real thing, bro. Sometimes people hate you because they want to be in your position. Sometimes dudes hate you because of reasons that we don't understand. I don't know, but sometimes you see stuff like the New Orleans Saint Jonathan Vilma situation. We remember how that went in the NFL. Who knows what's really going on? But I'm telling you, I ain't like how that looked. When I saw the injury. So, it's one of those situations where I don't know that if he wasn't completely healthy, that injury still don't go down the same way. But I also know he was already hampered. And he was trying to play through this injury so that he can have that quota met, so he can earn the MVP that ultimately he probably deserves up until this point. But the NBA has this rule in place, and they think it's a good rule. And no one, as I was listening to Joe Dumars, he said no one has come and asked them to change the rule, and they haven't received any calls of that nature. Look, man, you can force a guy to play, or you can force him to forego his personal goals. But what's going to end up happening in one of these years with this stupid rule is you're going to give the MVP to somebody that don't half deserve it. That's what's going to end up happening. That's exactly what's going to end up happening. Or a guy like Tyrese Halliburton's going to miss out on $40 million because he didn't make the All-NBA team because he didn't meet your quota. That's money control. That's allowing the organization, the association, to have more control over whether or not they funnel these guys what it is that otherwise they deserve. Ooh, I get to save $40 million. Let me put this 65 games in place. He ain't going to play more than that. Knowing that if that 65 wasn't in place and he played 60 games, he was going to earn that. And so that little devious type of stuff is worked into the equation to keep guys from getting certain things that the NBA don't want to pay them. And I think that's bad business. I think the NBA needs to be held to task for that type of stuff that I see they do. So these are the type of things. It's like, everybody wants to cut corners. Not everybody has good intentions. You know what I mean? Sometimes they have other agendas and stuff like that, and they put people up to do certain things. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's a dirty game. Guys got to protect themselves and their health, and you can't let things get voted in. If you're the Players Association, you can't let things get voted in that are so association friendly, owner friendly, that you end up having crap like this happen. That's the truth. So that's my point of view on that, man. We could sing from the mountaintops of how we don't like the rule. You can hear somebody else make a good argument for why they do like the rule, but at the end of the day, to me, if it's riddled in force you to do what I otherwise would prefer you do so I don't have to pay you. That's what it's riddled in. And forcing players to go out there and not have the power to rest if they're not injured, preventing injury in the process. The notion that 82 games is not too many games and all these different things that I've heard great arguments for why it is too many games for these guys to be playing. And even if they're not injured, it probably does make sense for them to shave a few games off to keep from getting injured, especially if they've been running 82 game schedules for the past 10 years. So, this is a slap in the face of players who are trying to take the power in their own hands to protect their own bodies while still managing to get the capital amount of money from these owners. And I understand both point of views, but I think the owners are probably taking a little more than they probably should in this situation. So that's what it feels like to me. But whatever the case may be, Joel Embiid deserves to be able to qualify just like anybody else at this point in my mind. 65 games, that's garbage. Find another way is what my opinion is. Find another way. And for those fans who are saying availability is the best ability, well, this is what you get. Guys playing on injury, guys doing too much and end up not being able to give you the best product and end up being out for a longer time because of it. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all just want to see people hurt. A lot of y'all just want to see people not making the money they're making. A lot of people have their own biases as it pertains to who's getting what and want to see their guy in there as opposed to the guys who are there. And for that, you don't find yourself to really take what they're saying into the equation when you're assessing whether or not this makes any sense for you in your mind. I ain't. A hater is lacking a lot in regards to the stuff that I'm looking at and assessing what it is I'm doing and what it is I would support. So that's how I gotta say it's not that. But nevertheless, man, that's pretty much my opinion on that. I don't know if LeBron's gonna be waiting for a long time for those pundits to come out, because at the end of the day, they don't care. They're more so interested in what's gonna get clicks, and they're more so interested in who's paying them. And so if who's paying them is telling them to push this, then that's what it is. So that's pretty much all I gotta say. My name is BDO44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.